I'm Faith, and this is The Simple Things. In this episode, I'm going to show you a couple of condiments that you can make yourself just with a food processor. Having one of these things is handy. If you don't have one, you could probably do most of these in a blender, maybe in those magic bullets, but it's really worth having a food processor. If you're going to start to learn how to make food from scratch, it's worth trying to get a hold of one of these. This time, I'm going to make some butter, and it's incredibly easy. I got myself some heavy whipping cream. Get that in there. Now is when you're going to salt it and flavor it. Okay, right now I'm just going to make a regular salted butter. If you want to make an herbed butter, put your herbs in now. If you want to make a cinnamon butter with a little bit of like sugar or something in it, make it sweet, now is when you put it in here. All I'm going to do is add a little bit of salt, and that's it. Put your lid on. I'm going to set this to puree and let it go. Now, what's going to happen before I put on the noise machine is that it's going to keep whipping it. It's first going to look like whipped cream, and then it's going to start turning into butter. Once you start seeing liquid flying all over the place, that is called whey. Once the whey starts to separate and everything looks like it's not moving down here, that's when we're going to check it, and then it'll be done.
Flying all over the place as the whey separates from the butter. You want to let it go as long as you can. Get as much liquid out as you can. And whip it up really good. Once you start seeing a ball rolling around in there, that's when it's time to take it out. Now be very careful when you open this up. A lot of whey on here. Okay, set you aside. Now look at that. We're going to get our blade out. It's a soupy mess, but it'll look much better once you squeeze this all out. Okay. Now, got myself, this is a butter cloth. It's a lot better to work with than cheesecloth, and it can be rewashed and reused over and over and over again. Some people call these tea towels. It's just a nice cotton linen cloth that you can clean up. Okay, once you get that all in there, gather up the edges. Squeeze, ball it up, squeeze. Moving the butter around helps to work the rest of the whey out. Now, if you can actually manage to get all of the liquid out, which takes quite a bit of working, where you actually have to knead the butter and rinse it under cold water and knead it again in order to get all the whey out of the butter, you can use it for baking. Otherwise, you really cannot use this for baking. There's entirely too much liquid in it, and it will dry out your baked goods. This is just really best for table butter. It just makes a really, really lovely butter. When I get most of the water out, I open it up and just move it over to another part of the cloth there. Wrap it up again. Just give it a few more squeezes. Now, The best way to store butter is in wax. That's why you see it rolled up in wax at the grocery store. It keeps all the other flavors out. Keeps the butter from drying out. You put your butter on your wax paper. Give it a preliminary shaping. And then you'll start shaping this thing into a log. Press and roll like that. Make it a nice log. And then do it one more time. Hold this here, put your hand in, just kind of like press and roll. Roll that up like that. Roll up your edges like that. I like to put it into another bag. Make sure that it doesn't absorb any other flavors inside the fridge. You can cut some of this up, but put it in your freezer. If you're not going to use all of this right away, it'll keep a lot better there. It's not going to keep quite as long as other butter because of the moisture content in it, but believe me, it's not going to last. And there you have your homemade butter. Now, our next condiment is going to be brown sugar. I ran out of brown sugar once. Found out how easy it was to make online, and I haven't gone back since. It is so easy. Again, another thing that a food processor is handy for. So, for every cup of sugar, you are adding 1 tablespoon of molasses. Now, anytime you're using molasses or honey or anything else like that, a quick spray, and it won't stick. Lid on top. You'll get your sugar spinning, and then you're going to add the molasses as it spins. Give it a little bit of a stir just to make sure that nothing is sticking to the bottom, and I just use the spoon that I scoop that out with. No sense in dirtying another spoon, and make sure you get the rest of the molasses in there. If you like a dark brown sugar, you can go ahead and add a little bit more. Just finish spinning it up. Okay, now it's going to be a little bit loose and not quite as packed in as you would expect it, but that's okay, because as it sits, it's going to mush together unless you use this right away, and it's going to mix in your batter anyhow. Now, I like 2-container system because this stuff will get clumpy on you, okay? I have one of these sealed jars here, look real nice, and then I have just a simple plastic bag inside of it.
Get that in there. Now, as long as you have it twisted up inside this plastic and inside of this airtight container, then you will be just fine. Just squeeze it on down there, pack it really nice and tight so you don't have any air in there, because air is what's going to make it clump together on you. And just twist it together and put it in there and seal it up. How fast was that? Now you have homemade brown sugar, and your cookies are going to be so much more moist with the homemade brown sugar than the stuff that you get out of the boxes. I'm telling you, you're going to absolutely love it. I would love to know if you guys actually give this a try. That is homemade brown sugar. That easy. Now, our final condiment is going to be peanut butter. You've seen it on YouTube before. We're going to do it really quick for you again. Just as a recap, 3 ingredients. You could do this in 2. All you have to have is the peanuts and a little bit of peanut oil to loosen it up. You can add raw honey if you want to sweeten it up. If you don't want it sweetened or you can't have it sweetened, you absolutely do not have to do the honey. I personally like it, but you don't have to have it. It's going to taste so much like peanuts that you're really not going to need it. You want to get cocktail peanuts. Those are the ones that have only sea salt and nothing else. You don't want any of that coating stuff that you get on some peanuts. Only cocktail peanuts. Put your peanuts in here. You're going to set this thing on puree, and you're going to let it go until this thing forms a ball, and we're going to see that rolling around on the inside. That's when we know that it's going to be ready to start adding other ingredients. Now you see it forming a ball. Now it's time to add your honey. If you're going to add the honey. If not, don't even bother with this stuff. And if you add the honey, you're going to need to add some oil right away as soon as you start it up, because this honey is going to bind it up a little bit. So get ready with your oil. Okay, now your peanut butter is going to be looser than you normally would have it for a jarred peanut butter, because this is going to set a little bit after it cools off, because it's nice and warm right now from being whipped around. Get all that peanut butter off the blade. You don't want to waste any of this stuff. And then you're just going to start putting it into your jar. Any kind of jar will do. You can put it into a mason jar. You can, I clean off, take the label off of jars and reuse those also, because, well, it's a glass container and you've already paid for it. So you're just going to keep putting this in here, a little bit at a time. Until you got all of it. This stuff does not last long in my house. I've even given this stuff away as gifts because, well, it smells like peanut butter. You have to be careful with peanut butter nowadays. First of all, I don't know if you've read the labels lately, but there's a ton of ingredients, including sugar and a whole lot of things I can't even pronounce. And if it doesn't have sugar in it, some peanut butters have an artificial sweetener called xylitol. By the way, xylitol is toxic to dogs. So if you're the kind of person that likes to give your dog peanut butter, not only is this better for the dog, but it could save his life. Always check your labels. Even if you're not going to make your own peanut butter, look for the ingredient and don't buy the peanut butter with that stuff in it. Not if you're going to give it to your pet. Okay. This thing will fill to the top. A sandwich for me. Put my lid on. There we go. Now we've got some homemade peanut butter. You've learned how to make 3 simple condiments. I think that you should give it a try and let me know how it goes. Thank you for joining me.